Yes, well, welcome everyone. It's really, really good to see that the room is completely full, especially after lunch on the second day. We have a lot to tell you guys, so let's get started.
Yeah, hi, my name is Pauline Harlinghausen. I'm an OutSystems developer at AgentBase AG. That is the OutSystems partner in Germany. What I do on my daily basis, I'm the project manager of the first ODC project in Central Europe, developing various different projects for various different clients, so a lot of things to do there. Also internally, I am known for my specialty of AI, so every time there is something with AI, I'm always involved. And some projects I always do with my colleague Lotte.
Yes, I'm Lotte Kuiper. I started working with OutSystems 3 years ago at Transfer Solutions. You've seen them walking around with the orange shirts, I'm sure. And I met Pauline 2 years ago at a work event that we organized about AI. That's where I found out that she was working with AI in OutSystems as well. And that's the pitch for our idea to share our knowledge with a bigger audience. And that's already a success. So great, what are we going to talk about?
Yes, let's dive directly into it. We're going to start with how to use AI so that you can build it into your own applications. We will show you 2 examples to inspire you a little bit and give you kind of a kickstart and inspiring ideas. And in the end, we give you some pro tips and advices, what we would like to know before getting started with AI, so that you don't find out those things yourself.
Great. So how to use AI. Before we dive into that, I want to know something from you guys, and that is why you want to learn how to use AI. So put your hands up if you're here because of a customer demand or a question that they ask you because they want to go on the hype train and you're like, oh, I don't know, I want to learn about AI. Please tell me. Great, cool. And people that are here from personal interests want to find out? Yes, great. Cool, okay, that aligns with our advices at the end. So it's cool to see that you're all here to figure it out by yourselves or together on how to use AI within OutSystems. So how do you use it? We've tried to divide the process up into 4 steps. Step 1 is selecting the model. I'm sure you've heard about OpenAI's ChatGPT, Amazon Kendra, Gemini. We have a really, really long list of those. I'll stop right here. And after we've selected the model, it's time to configure a connection with it. With AI Agent Builder in ODC, it's made really easy for you. When we started with our projects, it wasn't available yet. So we configured an API connection. As you can see here, we check 2 things first. We want to see if we have a message to send over and if we've selected a model. Otherwise, it's pretty useless. But if we have that information ready, we call our ChatGPT endpoint, get a response back, and we can use it in our app. It's as easy as that, right? But how do I get the response that I want? Well, I have to design a good prompt. Prompt is basically any question or command you could give to the AI in order to get a response back from it. And how do you design it? Well, first let's have a look at how not to design it. AI is pretty powerful and smart, right? But it cannot look inside of our heads. So you have to be a bit more specific than this. Create a form won't do, you have to give it a bit more details. Or even worse, send your whole Excel sheet containing personal data straight up to the AI's cloud, and now it will float around there and it can be used to train itself. You don't want to share your personal things in there. So please don't do this. What should you do? We're going through that in 4 steps. First, we will provide context. So for example, you are a pro crossword solver, and your task is to solve any of my crossword queries based on the question and the length of the input. Then we can give it some examples to guide it into the right direction. So if the input is a 10-letter word for a great low-code platform, you answer OutSystems. And then finally, we can set some constraints or further requirements. For example, we now told it to only return a result if it's 100% sure, because otherwise it would come up with things that may be wrong or don't exist. Now that we've selected our model, we've configured the connection, we send over the right prompt, and then we get a response back, it's time to implement it into our application. And Pauline is going to show you in her first use case how we've done that.
Perfect. Thank you, Lotte. I guess you all have the basics now, and we can get into the real stuff, the important use cases. So the voice assistant use case is a completely hands-free maintenance list for service workers. We are in a company, we have a lot of different vehicles, we have a maintenance worker who should do different tasks on them, for example a monthly checklist or a daily checklist, anything you like. So the system will guide you through this checklist completely hands-free. So the maintenance worker will wear headphones and have a microphone, so the instructions come into their ear and the output of the service technica is via voice. Very simple, right? So the use case is very understandable, I guess. So at first you have to select the vehicle that you are going to check in our application, then you select the checklist that you want to perform, record all the findings that you have, go through the different tasks, are the brakes working correctly, anything like that. And then you get a summary of all the checklists that have been done for this vehicle. For example, if you choose a car, then yeah, okay, the brakes are always not working. Maybe we should throw away the car. Okay, the main challenge of this was, first of all, we started to develop it completely without AI, because this project was also our first project working with ODC. So we started basically having the use case using the board middle stuff of the browser. So we noticed some problems or challenges with processing natural language. So we were working with keywords. You can see them on the right-hand side. Those are the basic keywords, to say so. So if you have 3 different workers that perform the same task or working with a checklist, I bet with you they will find 3 different ways to say yes. And you as a developer had to think of all of these ways. So if the worker would say yes, the brakes are working, or absolutely they are working, then both of these keywords had to be in the list that you can see on the right-hand side. So we had to do a lot of imagination beforehand. Also, we had a problem if you're looking for a keyword in a paragraph. So you're always talking, so in natural language you're not just saying one word. So if the worker would say no, I would say it's partly working, then it's the essence of this paragraph would be partly, but the system would understand no, because that is the first keyword that was found in this paragraph. There we had a problem. I guess all of you at least tried once to learn a new language, or have, for example, children who want to learn language in any kind. So there are a lot of words that sound similar. For example, like brake in a car, like I want to check the brakes, or I want to take a break and pause the system or anything like that, sounds very similar. And if we don't do the analyzing of the essence or what is the meaning behind the paragraph, then we had really big problems in understanding these words. Okay, then let's dive directly into the implementation of this application. So we're starting by selecting an AI model. We choose ChatGPT here. I will come to that point in the other example a little bit more. Then we do the configuration part. Lotte showed you earlier how we do the API call. And then we want to design the prompt. I will show you the example prompt that we used in this specific application. So first of all, we give the app the context. You are in this app, you have to basically process the inputs of the users. So the AI should know what its role is. We give the instructions, we give also the keyword list that you saw earlier, so that the AI knows from which keywords to choose. And we also find it very helpful if we have the information what the keyword does, so the action that will be performed afterwards. That works pretty well. We always give kind of an example. When the user input is this and that, then the output should be that specific answer, so that the system knows how the answer should be structured. In the end, we give some kind of constraint. You saw the keyword list. If the system tries to hallucinate anything, then we have problems there, because that simply wouldn't fit. So we give a specific keyword for the case that the system doesn't know what is meant. So that is just to protect our system. Then the user's message will follow, but I guess we will see that. The implementation part is the part above that Lotte showed you earlier. So here's basically the surrounding of the AP call. So we get an AI model, get the AI role, so the system in this case, we add our base prompts, then we call ChatGPT in this case, that is exactly the action Lotte showed you earlier. Then we go to the keywords of our system, find if anything matches there, so does the output of the AI matches the keyword that we have in our system, and then basically use the response in our code. But enough of the talking, I guess you all want to see it, how it's going to work. So let's start. We choose a vehicle here, just simple approach, then choosing a maintenance list, and then completely hands-free.
Task 1, visual inspection. Are the headlights and tail lights functioning properly? Yes, enter. Go to the next task. Task 2, functional test. Are the brake lights working when the brakes are applied? Functional test. Enter.
Cool. I don't know if you were able to hear it, but that's why we've used the subtitles, just to be sure that you can follow along. It was already really cool to see that we could use this app hands-free, but we were still using the keywords over here, and we just told you that we were using AI to get rid of that and use a natural way of speaking. So I tried to push it a bit further. Let's have a look at how that goes.
Try to maintain it.
Inflated and free from visible damage?
It's at 100%.
Cannot put, but it's okay.
Yes, entered. Task 5, visual inspection. Is the tread depth on the tires within legal limits? Task 1. Task 6, visual inspection. Are the windshield wipers in good condition?
Okay, so that went a bit better, right? It completely understood my rant about the Dutch weather, even though it's supposed to be nice out today. Past week it's been raining a lot, so it still coldly answered with yes, entered. But that's exactly what we want, so that's great. So what are the benefits of this application? As you already heard us talk about, it's that the user experience have improved greatly because we can now talk in a more natural way. There's no need to learn this full list of commands. The maintenance worker can just talk to the app and it will know what you mean. And the second problem that we were able to solve is that what Pauline just told you in the paragraph, if there were multiple keywords that have a different meaning and they occurred in one paragraph, it would just stop at the first keyword it found and disregard the rest of it. But now we take the whole speech input into account and it will get your intent from it. So that was also a nice improvement of our performance. Then for us as developers, it was also cool to see that we could reduce the list of set commands because we don't have to worry about the synonyms anymore. The AI will map it to the right keyword that we use in our application. And the error handling was greatly done by the AI as well, because if you are unclear, it will return repeat, and then the app will just ask you to repeat yourself. Then one final bonus that we found out when we were starting to work on this together is that Pauline is German and I'm Dutch, and I don't speak German. But when I started to use this application in Dutch, it would understand me. When I was talking in English, it would understand me. When you are talking in German, it would understand. AI is a great multilingual, so it's really good to see that everyone in every language could basically use this car checklist now in their own language. Now you are here to discover the AI galaxy, so let's hop into our spaceship and see what possible things we could add to this application if we were to put more AI in this stuff. So first of all, what you just saw is that we still need to navigate through every step of the checklist, but it would also be really nice if we could open the app, start recording, and just say, yeah, the brakes aren't working, my tire pressure is a bit low, blah, blah, blah. And then the AI would just go through all of the steps, make the marks, put the comments in there, and return the result within a few seconds. So that would be really great. A second thing is to teach the model how to give smart suggestions. Now we told it to repeat every time that it doesn't understand, but we could train it to say, oh, you say the tire is low. Did you mean the tire pressure is low? And that way you could just continue your conversation and fix the error and unclarities yourself. And then finally, our cars are wired with lots of sensors right now. So if we were able to interact with those and then read the oil levels and the brake wear and everything, you would be the one to ask the application how the car is doing instead of you telling it how the status is. So just to give you some ideas on how you could expand your first application when you started with AI, leave it for a few months, come back to it and think, oh, we can improve this and this and this. There's no limits really. Let's have a look at the second one.
Yes, perfect. I'm personally really liking this use case, and I'm sure that all of you will be jealous of me afterwards. We are in a work business trip right now. I guess that's true for almost everybody of you. And we have a lot of invoices of that. So I don't know, for example, the hotel bill or anything like that. And we use AI to extend our old travel expenses application and have something like an invoice processing, invoice recognition thing. So what the idea is behind it, you can simply take a picture of your invoice, upload it, the AI will analyze it, put all the information in the form, you can simply check everything, and then, yeah, you don't have to type every little expense that you made by hand, but you have a smart suggestion. I think you're not quite convinced yet, so I will show you. As you can see here, that's our travel expenses application, so my name there. I can add multiple receipts, very simple, it's a batch processing thing, I guess. That's clear for you. So I simply drag and drop all the files that I have here. I have 3 different invoices. One of fuel in Poland, so that you can see that, a hotel bill and a food bill. As you can see, the last one is very crumbled as well, because, yeah, as we all know, we are not the best with our invoices. So, yeah, basically you can upload it there. You see the blue box where we say, okay, we are using AI. Be careful of that, be mindful, because that is a live application. Everybody should know which information is processed here. Now we see the first invoice. The receipt type is not quite correct. We have to change that one, that's fuel, but the rest is, yeah, basically quite good. We have to change the currency because we don't pay in zloty in Germany. So, yeah, the information is correct. We can go to the next invoice. Sorry if you get hungry now. So we check all the information here as well. See, there is the information correct. We can see always the invoice on the left-hand side. Very easy. Go to the next one. Here we see a hotel bill. Those are a little bit more complex. They have all a different structure, but here we have different types of taxes that we need to check. We can simply open the invoice, see if everything is correct, confirm that, and add it to the billing. It's quite interesting how different the system will react depending on the time of date you will do it, because all of our American friends just wake up after our lunch basically. So there we see that it gets quite worse. But not too worse, so that is also on the evening, so one field is wrong. That is fine, I would say. We have something where we check it, so we have some kind of analyzing thing behind that, where we track which information we changed, so which was wrong. So maybe we can come back next year and show you the results of a long-term study, but we see. Perfect. How did we do that? Very important part here, we started at the very beginning. So we have a very different use case from the first one now. So we have to start and see which AI model fits our use case. That is image recognition now, and no longer speech recognition or the essence of a text paragraph or anything. So we started at the very beginning, going to Google and searching for every AI model that could possibly fit, try out with our invoices and see which one fits our use case best. Very nice here is there is a point where you can also save costs, because all the models cost differently, and so you can decide how good do I want it for which price. So in this use case we decide again on ChatGPT 4, but we started really at the beginning and searched the internet, and we didn't get dumber from it, so that was quite a nice experience as well. We do the configuration part. Again, that's the same that Lotte showed you earlier, designing the prompt. One thing that is interesting here is that we are using a JSON format here. So we need a lot of input fields that be filled by the AI that we have. So we give the JSON structure in it so that the system knows it. Here you can see the sample JSON structure that we sent with our prompt. That's not exactly the one, but so they can imagine it. So we have the different fields that need to be filled and also the different values basically that can be in there. Yeah, this is the invoice that belongs to this, just that you can see what we're meaning with that. What are the benefits of that? I think we all agree that that is nicer than typing in all the numbers, aren't we? Anyone that wants to type in? No one? Perfect. So we have a lot of time saving there. We can do batch processing, put it all in, check the information. We make less mistakes, no typos here. So that is a pretty nice thing. We have more time to focus on higher value tasks. Lotte likes to say our customers get twice as happy and has twice as much time to do something else. So that is basically it. Also, why didn't we use another application that we built in? So there are a lot of different options where you can put invoices into and get them analyzed, like, I don't know, Expensify, if you know that. We had a traditional application that was running perfectly fine, and we want to use it and have the same look and feel. I'm very sure that you didn't notice the shift between the traditional and the reactive thing. It's very similar in style. So that is also a good point, and we could try if AI is good. To the cost part, that is just an around value, because it depends on how big your images are, how good your prompt designing is, very important. There you can do a lot of work. You can optimize your prompts in a very good way and save money there. And yeah, basically I think we're cheaper than the competitors there. Okay, that's enough from the use cases, I would say. Let's give you some pro tips so that you can get started your own projects.
Yes. Great. So we already had 2 real-life use cases, and we learned some lessons from that I would like to share with you if you go home and start working with AI yourselves. So the first thing that we keep on seeing going wrong is that we all are really hyped up by AI and we want to start using it right away, but we don't really have a use case for it. And our advice is to define your use case first, start working on a first version, maybe even, and then along the way you will maybe run into problems that could be fixed using AI. So for example, in our first use case, we had problems with processing human language. Well, AI is great in doing that, so that's the point where we started to look into incorporating AI in our apps. Same thing for the process automation with the invoices that we just saw. The app already existed, we just had to manually fill it in. It's a really boring and tedious task, and you sometimes make mistakes. So yeah, how could we make it nicer? How could we optimize that with the use of AI? Right? And the final thing I'm sure you've all seen is the predictive analysis part of it. So if you have a batch of data and you want to predict the weather or the amount of traffic on the way back home, that would be a nice use case to start using AI for that. The second thing, I briefly mentioned it when looking at the bad or even worse prompt, is that you have to keep mind of your data, because everything that you send in might end up in the cloud and might be used to train the model. If you have a paid version, it's less likely so, but there are lots of free tools out there. You don't know what's happening on the background, how long your data is being stored, so keep mindful of that, please. And don't break any laws, like the GDPR, European law is that, and also the American Health Insurance Act, I think it's called. I only know the acronyms now. And finally, we heard it this morning from Alexander on the main stage. Keep control of the output. The eye can be biased, as we are humans, based on what we hear and see. Same is for the AI, based on what it's trained on. So if you're using it to do decision making, please be aware that you have to step in before you actually do something with a decision and use your own human judgment for it, and be responsible. So now that we've scared you all off, our final piece of advice is to have fun, go try it out. There are lots of free tools out there. OutSystems is a great way to start. In ODC we have seen the AI agent builder, which makes it really, really easy, but loads of other different webinars and courses you can take. Just please have fun, be creative with it, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.